Hey, what's up, fam? And welcome back again to Recap Kickback presents HOTD, the Westeros Kickback. That's right. It's me, your host, Chappell, and I am back again to talk to you about another episode of House of the Dragon Season 3. And with me, the Maester herself, to talk about this very interesting time, this regime change in Westeros history. It's Mari Forth. Mari, welcome back.
Yes, we're back. House of the Dragon is rolling. We've walked in and we're like, hey, what's going on? Where's all the gold? Where's all you know what I'm saying? So it's fun. I mean, it feels it's only episode 3, but it feels like, you know what I'm saying? Like a whole bunch has transpired in the 3 episodes. So this is crazy.
Yes, and we have a lot to discuss. But first, I want to thank everybody for being here. All the new listeners who have found us because of House of Dragon, welcome. We do this all the time. Mari is the dragon expert, the Maester. She's read the books, and I am here as well, the peanut gallery, just commenting on what I see on the TV. At the end of all the episodes, we have a Maester Mari's book corner where she talks about some of the controversial things from the book, maybe the deviations from the book and the main plot. But we kind of keep it very light on spoilers. We don't want anybody to lose their type of interest in the show because they've got spoiled by us. So we don't talk about any spoilers, anything that's pertinent or that we don't already know. That said, also, we have other coverage here, Interview with the Vampire coverage every week, the Vampire Lestat. Mari already watched this week's episode, and I'm so ready to talk to you about it. So that's going to be fun. That podcast should be up tomorrow. Chantel and I just started our live recaps of VH1's Rock of Love, starring Bret Michaels. We are making our way through the Flavor of Love cinematic universe, and that is the next stop as we make our way to, some other of Love and VH1 shows. And Mari, we also have cups.
Yes. Oh, we always have cups. Yes. Thank you to everyone who has supported my Big Cartel shop. I have pumped out so many Team Black cups, just so many Team Black cups. I mean, it's like nobody has bought a Team Green cup, but
I mean,
plenty of orders for Team Black.
I have a Team Green cup. Make no mistake. Somebody has one. Okay.
So yes, so thank you. You can go to Mari Crafts Too Much. Mari Crafts Too Much.bigcartel.com to get your cups. I am actually holding I finally got this away from my husband. I actually made my husband a House Martell cup with the words on the side, unbound, unbent, unbroken, in their colors. This is a dual lava cup. So I'm trying to bring on as many of the cups, different ones, so you guys can see the different ones. But it's been so fun. And so many listeners, like I said, have been buying. And if you're a listener and you mention that you're a Recap Kickback listener, you'll get a free gift as well. So it's been so fun. Thank you everybody for the support. Truly, it means a lot to me. And it's been just so fun making them. I'll post my TikTok, my book tumblr's TikTok in there, because I take pictures of, I try to remember to take pictures of all my cups. So if you want to see all the cups that I did, like especially the House of the Dragon ones, they're on my TikTok. So
yeah, and make sure you continue to join the conversation here on our YouTube page, youtube.com/@recapkickback. A lot of great comments about the book, the deviations, but also the show. Please join the conversation. Make sure you like the video, share it with your friends. Let them know that there is a podcast over here talking about House of the Dragon, and we got our own unique spin on it. We just do it the way that we know how. Last week we had our special guest, Taryn Armstrong, come on, backup Maester to this podcast. It was such a fun time. So thank y'all for checking that out. But this week, we get to talk about Rhaenyra's first 100 days, if you will, or very much
very that.
Yeah, but very much her first days in general. And Mari, I know that these Team Black cups are flying off the shelves, but it's ghetto in here in Blackland. I mean, God, the rats and oh my God, y'all live like this?
Well, I mean, that's how it goes. Once one monarch, one president, moves out and the next one moves in, sometimes you gotta fumigate the place. You gotta spray some stuff, because Rhaenyra walks into basically a disheveled kingdom. She's essentially been tricked because the treasury is gone. If you remember, you probably don't, because it's been 4 years. But I do believe it was back in season 1. I want to say it had to be season 1, because it was Otto and Tywin Lannister. They talked about immediately. They were saying, we got to split up the treasury. They immediately moved the treasure out of King's Landing. And can I tell it? Should I tell it now, or just wait till the book corner for where?
I think just wait for the book corner for that one, because I think that's a deeper conversation. Because the point is, the money is gone. Rhaenyra has she got this kingdom, but she can't do any of her plans without any coin, and they made sure to get rid of the coin very early on.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. So Otto did a great job of foreseeing, just in case King's Landing were to fall, that basically it wouldn't be a welcome, peaceful transition, if you will. It's almost like people are storming. Oh no. Anyways, so Rhaenyra, this was such an interesting episode, because we're seeing what it's like to actually govern again. It again is taking us back to season 1, where it's like actual governance. And the line in Hamilton, which is escaping me right now because I am not in my usual setup, and it is very late at night. But basically, like, dying is easier than ruling,
Yeah.
And that's what Rhaenyra is learning right now.
Yeah, dying is easy, young man. Living is hard. And
It's
so
hard.
yes. And so she's got a rule. She wanted this. She had, the idea that this was for me. The gods have deemed this for me. And so now I need it. Now that I have it, cool, bet I'm the president. Let's do president stuff. First off, let's have a party. We got to do my coronation. We got to bring in the stuff. They were like, hey, we don't have any money for any coronation. Like, Rhaenyra low-key trying to make a ballroom in the White House, and people are dying, Kim.
Okay. It's almost like she came, she inherited a crumbling economy.
Not inherited. She wanted it bad.
Very sleepy. she comes in very sleepy and has to clean up after the former regime. So much so that her regime is being blamed for the former regime's horribleness.
Yeah.
It's very much paralleling a certain
something,
time, but
yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's nothing like she imagined, right? Because if you really stop and think about it, you can style yourself the queen in Dragonstone all you want to. It's it's been roughly a year or so, depending on what this timeline is. But once you land in King's Landing, once you declare yourself queen, once you start making decisions, it's totally different. And then when you find out that you're at a deficit, both monetarily and otherwise, it's hard. You know what I'm saying? And she's realizing this. And I kind of feel like I take umbrage also that they had to make sure that we knew that she was like on her period. And I was like, am I being too sensitive about that, Chappell? Like, what was that?
I don't think that's my place to say. I don't think it's for me to be like, are you being sensitive about, something that people with vaginas deal with? That's not really on me to speak on.
Because it felt like, oh, look at this woman. She can't rule because her uterus is bleeding.
I mean, to me, I read it as Rhaenyra's having the worst day ever. And I was like, and you can speak to this, but you're having a bad day. Everything's going wrong. You lost some money. Maybe people at your job get on your nerve. Your kids are annoying. You got to deal with people you don't like. You hit your knee on something and it stings. And then Aunt Flo shows up. And you're just like, damn.
It better, because I was like, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
So you saying that? So what you saying?
What you trying to say? Women can't rule countries while they bleeding? It's not like all these non-emotional men aren't making stupid decisions.
Yeah. We've heard commentary about that in our real actual world about how people feel when they come to voting for leaders that are women, and they will often, lean on like women are emotional, and then like also periods, but I think I think that if we're being realistic, it's probably just not something that she really considered when, and a lot of these things are not probably when she thought about ruling. Is that I think Rhaenyra is, hey, I came here to be the queen. I see myself sitting on the throne. I'm wearing the crown. I'm telling people what to do. I got my uncle husband next to me as my like ride or die like knight in shining armor. Right. Let's track that. But I think that's what she thought of. What she did not think of is the paperwork and the meetings and, the people begging. And like you said, the transfer of power. What does it look like when you have to take over? She wants to do her coronation. And it's not, I'm not judging her for wanting to throw her big coronation party because that's what you do to legitimize yourself. You're supposed to do these things. And by not doing it, it makes you look less legitimate. So she's like, well, obviously I need to do that first and foremost because, I need to be anointed. And so one of the things that she needs to do is go over and talk to the church folks. Cause the Septons, they gotta, the gods ordained this. So they gotta go ahead and show me some love. I might not be able to have my party because the coin is gone. Jasper is dead. And I can't even ask him about it because, my husband chopped his head off. But at least I could get the religious folks on my side. Mari, they're not on her side.
Yeah. Immediately the High Septon was like, well, but what about the other king? I need to see proof that he's dead before I
who did the body? Yeah.
Very that. Exactly. And again, just seeing that, like you said, the stumbling blocks that Rhaenyra is encountering and then how she's going to choose to deal with them. When he says you do not want to make an enemy of the faith, that's very true. Plenty of Targaryens before her and a few after her will make that mistake. And, the common folk mostly rely on their religion. So if their religion tells them to take up arms against their monarchs, more than likely that's what they're going to do. So it's like you really do not want to cross the faith. And it'll be very interesting to see how she handles that because she's like, man, I said he did. Like, right. She's like, so
yeah. And even this, I mean, she's going to him saying like, all right, he's gone. I'm next up. I'll sit on the throne. Anoint me. And this Septon's kind of like, I mean, if I ain't seen a body, is he really dead? And we all know in the Game of Thrones universe that that's actually something you should probably pay attention to. And so if you haven't seen a body, they might come rolling in on a horse like Benjen Stark. And so, it happens. And so he's definitely like being like, I can't anoint another person like this. He's like, this is bigger than your grab for power and these dragons and all that kind of stuff. They ain't got nothing to do with the gods. Okay. Once the gods have spoken, the gods have spoken. And the gods spoke and said Aegon was in. Now we got to reconcile that. We need what do you say? We need them sisters to come in. They got to do the body. We got a whole situation. He don't even really know for a fact that Rhaenyra is lying, but it does look suspicious to him nonetheless. Where it's like, hey, don't drag the church into your power struggle. And this just reminded me why Cersei is blowing up churches because she like, I got to make power moves and y'all in the way, whether they be religious fanatics, heretics, or just the church that they want on their side. There's no way. And I think the Hightowers are like famously the religious people, right? Like their like whole thing is that they were like for the church and all that kind of stuff.
Very pious. Yeah, right, because
they're not going to jump ship on them.
The seat of the citadel and all that. Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to jump ship on them immediately without any type of like proof.
Exactly. The High Septon, I do believe, was like a close friend of Otto, and it's not. And the High Septon doesn't have, if I remember correctly, it's the Pope basically, but it's not that same type of appointment. Like some High Septons are appointed by church members, some are literally like the king says, here, you're the High Septon now. So it just depends. But it's basically like if you're a nurse or a CLS, it's like, this isn't about to go on my license. Like I'm not about to.
I'm not gonna be the one because when they audit, they're not coming to me. Yeah.
A lot of CYA basically is what he's doing. Yeah.
Mari, imagine that a religious figure getting in a beef with the Pope. A political figure getting in a beef with the Pope. Yeah. What does that look like?
Who would have thought? Here.
So many parallels.
So many parallels.
I just want to
say.
Oh, go ahead.
but I know this is different than the Pope and everything, and I don't know where you're going, but I have to get this out before I forget it. Like Rhaenyra is essentially trying to pick what type of monarch she is going to be,
Mhm.
and I think it's very telling that Saria says, "What would your father do?" And
Yeah.
she's being pulled between trying to be like Viserys, who kept the peace but was overly cautious, and then versus Damon, who has always wanted the crown and the power, but he's never wanted the responsibility. Like Damon is like,
Mhm.
let's go fly off, let's be gods, let's take our dragons and go kill more people. And they're like, the war is won. But instead of ruling, he wants to go and conquer more. It's like you can't conquer more if you can't even govern what you have, like Rainier says.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because when it comes to these situations where she's up against, she's got Mysterio on one side and Damon on the other side, Damon is talking about, why don't we just go conquer a bunch of stuff? Like we got all the dragons, why not? And Mysterio is kind of looking out for the small folk in a way, but
Mhm.
she's using what Rhaenyra wants to hear, needs to hear, right? Like do what your father would do. Is like, oh, Rhaenyra's, vision of the way her dad was. It's like, oh yeah, that's the right move. What my dad would do, right? So she knows how to speak to her. There are definitely moments where Damon's kind of like, "Girl, who invited you into this conversation in the first place?"
Yeah, every moment.
Right, but Masseria is not going anywhere, and so you can tell
Right.
that she has a lot of sway and a lot of pull. And I think Rainier is just looking for some counsel. She's looking for some help because she does have to fire her small council. They She said, "Look, I didn't see them turn their back on us, but I didn't see them standing up for us either. So they got to go. Can't trust them." And I was like, "You're not wrong. When you bring in a new regime, it's commonplace to clean house."
Yeah, but also those lords of those small council, like a lot of them lost their holdings. That's why they
Mm-hmm.
couldn't do anything. Because remember, the battle before the battles of Rook's Rest, Sir Christian Cole is going and taking those small lords because they were all small lords. He was taking and sacking their cities. So they're
Mm-hmm.
sitting on Dragonstone counseling her, and their holdings are being burned. And remember, that was at a point where she wasn't letting anybody go out and help them. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like I get that there's a regime change, but again, you can't just keep going and dismissing and treating people who work for you like so badly, you know?
Yeah, she's up against a rock and a hard place in a lot of these situations, right? Because she does need to, get people in that she trusts, but also, what do you do with the people that you don't trust? And can you trust them? And how much of this is actually your doing? We'll see with her talks about the blockade. The people are hungry, the people were starving, and the noblemen, the people, with the money, the wealthy, they've been hoarding resources because they're like, the poor folks just gonna tear each other apart trying to get stuff. So they've been hoarding resources. Rhaenyra is like, well, I gotta feed them. They're coming to me. They're asking for money. I ain't got none. So the least I can do is get some food in. And I gotta take it from the rich. We gotta eat the rich. I said, I like this campaign promise, but she's making
I was like, yay, socialism!
yes, we did it. It does work. Well, a little bit, kind of, right? Maybe.
I was
So
about to say,
yeah,
but
but
the way she went
it's
about it.
but the wildest part about it though is that, like, yeah, it is take from the rich, but it's also like, let's dive into why these people are poor in the first place. Why are they starving? The blockade. We have to take responsibility for all of it. If not for the blockade, food and stuff would have been able to get out in and out. Obviously, you were at war, but these are now the people that you need to be your subjects. And so it's kind of like you were at war with them, and now you need them to give you fealty, and you need them to worship you as a god and all this other stuff. But they're not gonna forget that they were hungry. And so she actively goes out and kind of makes a fool of the noble people by feeding them these rats that are running rampant on the like in the Queen's Landing. And I thought this scene was pretty cool because those people were they were ready, started licking boots, right? Like, oh yeah, we never switched up. Oh my God, like, let's eat, let's feast. They had no type of guilt about all the stuff they were hoarding, the food they were about to eat. And I'm glad they had to look at those damn rats on their plates.
I knew it. As soon as that stuff came in, I was like, it's gonna be rats, ain't it? And as soon as they put it out, I was like, yep, yep, exactly. And like you said, he's like, oh yeah, I was always team black. I was like, that was hilarious. And I was like, stupid me, I was like, okay, she's gonna sit here and ask them nicely to give up some food. She's like, nah. She's like, this is what the small folk been eating. I was like, okay, you made your point. Cool.
Right.
And then she's like, I've sent people into your house to take your stuff right this very second. I was like,
oh, that's not
okay.
Right. Oh, you playing hardball. Right. Yeah. This is crazy. And immediately we get pushback. I can't think of this man's name. It was
they didn't really
Tormund.
Torrin Manderly.
Yeah, he's the one who calls her out on it the most. You know, he's kind of grinning because he's like, dang, this how you moving? You know, and she's like, well, I mean, y'all rich, you owe just like everybody else. You're gonna pay what you owe. He's like, that's fine, but people not gonna forget how we got here. And so that's definitely something she needs to manage. Now, she does know that although she can't be anointed by the faith, it's really the people that she needs to pander to or to cater to. And so she goes out and she passes out these rations to people. It's like she's throwing out rolls of toilet paper and paper towels.
I think you have her confused. Like she was,
just picking on
you. She was passing out vaccines, right? Like she was the one passing out vaccines.
People are happy.
Yes, she's making a big show of, giving the small folk the feel from the noble houses. And like her and Damon said, this will help for a few weeks, but they need to figure something out.
Yeah, and it doesn't even really like feel like Damon wants to figure something out as far as like making these diplomatic moves. Rhaenyra's like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna we'll go get Joffrey from the Vale because I need to start grooming my new heir. But then at the same time, let's hit these houses that have sworn fealty to us. They need to make a donation to the cause. All right, we got to build the bank back up. Let's do it. And Damon's kind of like, I mean, we could do that, or we could take all 6 of our dragons and just start laying siege to places. Like, why did we get 6 dragons if we weren't going to just go roll on people and take all their money? And she does not look like she's a big fan of this, but Damon doesn't look like he's a big fan of her not being a big fan of this. He's kind of like, damn, you still think you still don't think fat meat is greasy, and that's your problem. Like we are gods amongst these people. We gonna take what we got.
He looked at her like, oh, so you just gonna sit here and play PlayStation all day?
Yeah, you sweet summer
drive
child.
around in my car,
right?
And do nothing while I like, sir. Like it was like he was looking at her like, are you lacking ambition? Like,
right?
Because
we hate that.
Because if you think back to it, when they got married and they did the whole big plot to get rid of Laenor, it was because of the ambition that brought them together. You know what I'm saying? That was what they were initially drawn to, and being God on earth. And I think it's very unfair for him to be like asking her about this now. It's like, do you not see like what is happening? Like we have to pick up the pieces of this. We cannot go flying off. Yeah, but it's Damon. Damon's always been like this. They've been talking about how Damon's like this since season 1. That's why Damon went and started a whole war in the Stepstones, because Damon will never be satisfied. Even if he is king, even if he is king consort, he will never be satisfied. Never. He'll never sit there and rule. He wants to go and make a name. He wants to impose his will, and that's where they're gonna have problems.
Right, and that's exactly why he was, thinking that it should have been him, right? He has so many big ideas for what they can do with all this power, with these dragons, with their Targaryens, so they're full of their own stuff, right? They believe they're supposed to be in charge. The gods brought these dragons to us, okay? So we got to go use them. She's like, yeah, but what about right now? He's like, I don't care about right now. Let's go if we go to Dorne right now with these dragons, we'll be back in a fortnight, and we could tell everybody, all right, now we got some money. She's just like, that's not how I want to get down. And he's kind of like thinking, all right, but the way you getting down is not the way I thought we was going to get down. Mari, do you foresee some type of clashing between the two of them now that, she is clearly the queen and he has given her his loyalty, but it doesn't look like he agrees with the way she plans on ruling?
It's just that they're gonna do what they always do, right? They're gonna
Mm-hmm.
fight. They're gonna go and get some space from each other, do their own things, and come back. That's literally their whole lives, their whole relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
that's exactly what it's gonna be.
She really just needs a good, solid advisor, but she can't find one. There's that one scene where she's got Damon and Massaria that are arguing against each other. She goes, Corliss, you got something? Nope, I defer to you, Queen. It's like, hey, why did I bring y'all in? So the only person that she can find to talk to that could relate to the heaviness of this crown is her former best friend and Queen Dowager herself, Alicent. And she kind of brings her in on some, hey, you were basically running the kingdom when my dad was sick. This how it always is? She's like, yeah, this is it. This is whatever you thought you were going to be, whatever person you thought you were going to be. It's impossible to do that and rule effectively. I mean, if you look at Viserys, we talked so much trash about Viserys in season 1 because he was not good. He was so busy trying to please everybody that he was just falling
Pleasing
apart while
nobody.
doing it. He pleasing nobody. That's how all this plotting started, right? Viserys would not name an heir. He was dragging people along. He was telling people what they wanted to hear. All of this started because Viserys was bad at his job, and because of that, we have been on a trajectory like to this moment. But now Rhaenyra is looking around like, damn, but I don't want to be, this like strong-handed ruler who just demands, obedience, or I'm just gonna burn everybody alive. Even though some of her urges are like, maybe I should just burn these people alive. And so it's Alicent who's telling her, some of that stuff you got to let go. When you are in this position, there are going to be hard decisions that you have to make, and people are going to die. People are going to suffer, and it's going to be at your hands, but you have to do what's best for the realm and for your kingdom and all that kind of stuff. And so she's struggling with that. She's like, my daddy wouldn't have changed up. And I love Alicent being like, you don't even know what your daddy would have done because he was living in a fantasy world.
Yeah, he thought he knew what was going on, or he liked the facade of what he knew was going on, but we all know that was just, it wasn't real. And this is where I will give Queen Alicent her sevens. Like, she did learn how to rule the kingdom that one time when she
sorry, that's just me sipping out of my Team Green cup, Mari. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, she sat there on that throne and listened to those petitions day in and day out as they broke her down. And what did she get for it? Unceremoniously scooted aside once Viserys was dead and they crowned her son the king. Like, so even that, it's like, what was it all for? And with her being an effective ruler during those years or whatever, she never got the credit for it. So it's just one of those things that I thought that, yeah, Rain, this was actually very smart. Like, just like Alicent said to Aegon when he at first took the throne, it's like, if you're not a wise man, you listen to wise men, you listen to wise counsel. And Rhaenyra swallowing her pride and coming to Alicent is actually a good indicator of somebody who wants to be a good ruler. You know what I'm saying? So I did enjoy this scene between the two of them here. Like, I enjoyed every scene that they had in this episode. Poor Queen Helena. She's like, no. I want to be here. Like,
yeah, Helena's the best. She's the best character now, right? Like, as of today, her stock has risen so high for me because when Rhaenyra is charging up Alicent, she's like, "Why we ain't got no money? Where my money at?" Alicent like, "You think I am in control of what's been going on?" She said, "These people ain't supporting me since day one. They've been doing all that plotting and scheming behind my back. I walked in and was shocked. And so Rhaenyra kind of like, whatever. Right? Yeah, exactly. Possible deniability, damn it. But Rhaenyra walks in and she's like, okay, but like, where my money though? What we gonna do? Hey, I'm not sure. You keep killing the people who would have the answers for you. I really don't know. Then there's that one moment where Helena's like, yeah, by the way, did it make you feel better when you killed Otto? Was that like that kind of healed that Jace wound? And Helena's asking with all sincerity. She's not being like, now what? Look at you with your clown nose on. She kind of like, so tell me, how did that work out?
I was almost like, is she asking
Is
because
she being
she's like,
shady?
no, I almost thought it was like, was she really debating to like maybe kill like Rhaenyra
Oh
or
yeah,
somebody else for her own like
right. Because like
comfort?
I have some grief, so if I kill you, is that gonna work? Is that what? Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought it was a great question. Did that heal your wound? We will find out. No, the ghosts of the past are still haunting Rhaenyra, and they should be,
yeah,
right? This just happened. She can't even walk down the hall without seeing, Jace, and thinking about Jace. And when she hears Alicent saying things like, "Dang, you want me to prey on my son's downfall?" She's like, "At least you got that luxury, because
yeah.
some of us ain't got no sons."
She still has 3 more, but
She
yes,
still got
I still understand what you're saying. Yeah, um, yeah, and the her and Allison. Can we talk about? Should we talk about the end and all of
No, not
that?
yet.
Or
No,
no,
we'll
no.
save
Okay,
that.
okay.
Save that.
All right.
We're
So
gonna
that,
get to that. But Alicent and
okay.
Helena are essentially prisoners. Okay, they are being
Yeah,
kept because I mean, you can't just let them go. Right now
yeah,
we know Aegon's at large. We don't want them all linking back up. It's Alicent's idea to say, hey, like, tell everybody Aegon's dead, and then when he shows back up, just be like, "Oh, we don't know who that person is. That's not Aegon. He doesn't look like that. His face wasn't burnt like that. He didn't have them scars." Now Rhaenyra says, "So you still trying to save your son's life after all of this?" And I thought that this was interesting because I think Rhaenyra she should still be concerned about Alicent, right? Like they've gone through way too much over the last few years for this to be something where you could just fully trust her. But Alicent did hold up her end of the bargain, right? She said, "I told you I would
yes, she
get the
did.
guards to let their guns down. I've done all I could do." But I do think it's still wise of her to be like, "I think you're still trying to save your son. The son for a son thing is not something that Rhaenyra is going to let go." She's like, "Hey, I still owe Aegon one, and low key I owe Daemon one too. And with those two people around, she is going to have contenders for the throne. So she does still need to kill them. And it is Daemon who will keep reminding her, you need to kill these people. They got to die."
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, but I do think it's kind of hypocritical because she's like, "Oh, you're still trying to save your son." It's like, Rainer, that's what you would do too. But
Yeah.
then again, I do also realize what she's saying because Alicent gave her son up. You know what I'm saying? So, it's like you were the one who gave him up, said you were going to trade, and now he's not here. How do I trust you? So, like you said, so this is what happens when the family feuds. It's like blood in, blood out, blood for blood, back and forth. You see it with gang wars all the time. It's like, so you're revenging for this, and then you're revenging for this, and then this leads to this revenging. It's just like, where's the cycle? Where does it end? You know what I'm saying? Like, where does it end?
And unfortunately, Rhaenyra has made some more campaign promises that she has to live up to because her hand, Corlys, he has some demands as well. He's like, "Listen, we have fought beside you. I have lost all of my things, my worldly possessions, and all I have now is my 2 bastard sons, Alan and Adam." He says, "Hey, you might have guessed this already, but these are my kids." Rhaenyra's like, "What?" Yeah, I mean, I kind of see it in the nose. Y'all can say, but but she's like, "But yeah, that's cool. Love bastards, I'm kind of pro bastard myself, and he's like, "Good, because I need you to make sure that they are like verifiably my heirs. You need to speak legitimacy into them and just be like, hey, they're Valerians now. We're all family. Yay." And she hesitates. Mari, there's this sound drop that happens throughout this episode. It kind of reminds me of the Law and Order, like boom, boom. Because every time something happens, you hear the doom. And it's kind of like the room starts spinning a little bit. Mari, at first I didn't realize why she was so against this. But I mean, she eventually makes her case.
I mean, I guess. Like, I was just like, why are you so reluctant? Like he said, like, I've given up every single thing for you. The least you could do is just be like, they're the Valerians. Like you haven't, like, they do that all the time. And for her to be like, oh, well, I can't just be proclaiming bastard and all this stuff. Girl, you just pissed off some noble people.
Right.
She said, well, they're all they're merchants and minor nobles. They're not the great houses, but like it was very, again, people are dying for you. They're giving up their blood, their sweat, and their tears. And they ask you for just something in return that's tangible. And even the hesitation is just absurd to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt so bad for Corliss here. Like, that man has nothing. Give him his sons. Give his sons his name.
That's it. That's all he wants to do. But she's not able to say the words. Later on, she will have to knight one of these sons. She will knight all of these bastards. She goes to Off and says, all right, like, what are you going by? He's like, Off, the Targaryen. She said, no, oh, the hell you are. She shut that down. We get Hugh the Hammer off the White. And then Alan of Hull. And I thought, damn. You go
Adam of Hull.
Adam of Hull. You gonna solidify this man's name as bastard when his daddy just told you last night that he wanted like the next day. She like, all right, let me go ahead and name you something else other than the one request I got from my trusted hand who just went to war for me in the gullet. And it's the most lackluster ass dunk and egg knighting that I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God. All right, y'all. Y'all all nights look around. It's the people taking down the drapes and stuff or the witnesses. Mari, this was ghetto.
Yeah. And again, Ulf is like the White, I guess. Like, it's like, sir, you got dragons, and when Hugh comes in, he's like, well, how am I supposed to live? And she's like, we'll get you. We'll set you up. I
got you. Just give me a couple weeks. I don't know where you're going to sleep tonight, but like, once I get my Queen's Guard and a small council and some money, and once I find Aegon and Aemond, like, then I got you.
Honestly, look at the disarray, Hugh. Go grab a room, man. Just go grab a room.
Lay down somewhere. What they gonna do? You got a dragon. Just start conquering.
I mean, there's so many rooms there in the Red Keep. As long as you're not in Rhaenyra's, I think you should be fine.
Yeah, this is tough. Like, she has sworn so much to people, like, to build up this, this army, these people who are loyal to her. She's gone to them and she's promised them lordships and houses and, just rooms at the very least. I'll take care of you and your wife. She's not delivering on any of this. And Corlys is pissed. It's looking very much like, was it Corlys's brother that was like, all your kids bastards, what you gonna do about it? He kind of did the same thing.
He said, your son Lucerys, bastard. I made him my heir to Driftmark, bastard. Jace, I was like, Corlys, but you're right. Why did you say that really loud? But you're right.
Lived and died a bastard. He said he was a bastard when he was alive. He's a bastard now. Ooh, Corlys.
And again, and that's what Corlys said. Corlys said to Rhaenys, and again in season 1, when he was like, the blood doesn't matter. Like, the blood doesn't matter. It's just the name. It's just the names. And that's all Corlys wants. He wants his name for his kids. And the hypocrisy of Rhaenyra, like he said, why did your bastards deserve a name and mine don't? I was like, I mean, rightfully so, because she is the heir and they did come from her body, but that's neither here nor there. He's right. It's very rude. And again, girl, what is you doing? Your allies are few and far between, and pissing off the one that's given up arguably the most for you. Not even arguably. Like, somebody did a TikTok, like, I think we talked about it last week. Corlys lost his wife, his niece. He lost everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like,
all he got is the bastards. And Baela.
Give that man the name. Yeah, just give that man the name, man. So I was just like, oh, there were a few wrong steps here in her first day or two.
Yeah, for sure. Should Rhaenyra, should she kill Corlys?
add him to the list. I mean, like, there's too many people for her to kill because she keeps screwing them over or they're not giving her perfect loyalty. Like, you cannot do that. You need friends. You need friends, and you not just like Damon is all about like having people fear you and but but I don't think people, to me, fear and fear doesn't last as long as like respect and admiration. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
if you want to lock somebody down for a longer period of time and not just until what you can do for them runs out, you have to inspire respect and admiration. Inspiring fear doesn't help if they eventually can get over said fear. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, girl, you just your to-do list longer and longer.
Yeah, this was a tough look because I get her. She doesn't want to start her reign by being like, all right, bring in more bastards. Like, we just look respectfully, Luke and Jace, they did. You know, we and what's they daddy dead too. So you know, we can kind of let that rest, and the history books can say they were never bastards. We can move on from that. But like, she doesn't, so she don't want to be like the bastard queen no more, you know. And so I can see why she doesn't want to. But you're right. You cannot piss off Corlys right now. You don't have a lot of people in your corner. Daemon and Mysaria are fighting. And he's like the one solid thing that you can count on right now, right? Like, you know, his kids are riding for you. And
don't forget, like, the men that he didn't lose at the Battle of the Gullet make up most of her forces because again, in the books, her shield is quartered. Her shield has, and of course I don't have that cup with me, but her shield is the Targaryen red dragon on black, and Corlys's seahorse, and Lady Jane Eyre's her, was it like
Veil?
the falcon? It's the falcon and the moon, like, because those are the forces that make up her main host, and they were the most loyal, and they were the first ones. So again, pissing off Corlys makes no sense.
Makes no sense. So we got to talk about the big plot here in this episode because I have been waiting to meet this character for a while. We've talked about this character as like a missing piece, and so we finally see Daemon roll up on Ormond to talk about Daeron. Okay, so
with them curls, look at them luscious curls.
Look at them, the baddie wig. I see you, Matt Smith. So Daemon shows up, and he's like, "Hey, Ormond, listen. I got all these dragons. I mean, literally showed up with 3 dragons behind him. Y'all can't do nothing about this. We've taken over." And Ormond is very, very understanding. He definitely pries and asks a few questions. So how are we supposed to trust this? What are we supposed to do? Like, you think I'm just going to bend the knee and leave all these people hanging? He's kind of like, well, I mean, you see what your alternative is. You can fight back, but we got these dragons. He says, you know what? Okay, fine. Let's bend the knee. He bends the knee. He pledges his fealty, and he tells his army that it's time to go. This would be the last of the Hightower army. They are going to admit that they have lost, and they're going to move on. But Daemon also demands that they turn over the ward, Daeron, who is or Darren, if you know, depending on who you are, because he is Alicent's other child, and that person also has a claim to the throne, and we can't have him wandering around with the dragon and all that good stuff. So he's got to come with us. And so they give up this small blonde child with a similar hair, just looking like baby Daemon, baby Aemond. And my first thought was, damn, Mari never told me Daeron was a child. I'm like Rhaenyra in this moment. I said, I kind of expected him to be older.
Yeah, exactly. And that was my thoughts too. I was like, why does he look 10? I was like, Rhaenyra, stop asking him all these questions. He's clearly 10. And then I was like, wait, why is he 10? I was like, like, it is well known and well recorded that him and Jace were born at the same time. They were milk brothers. So he's at the very least 16, depending on who you ask. But like 16 is Jace's recorded age, I believe. Some people say 19, but like, I was like, huh? Okay. But because you don't second guess it, because they've been playing fast and loose with the ages, like I said, for forever. So I was just like, all right.
Yeah. He does not have the answers to any of her questions because he is a child. And so she's like, tell me what the hostages are. Tell me what they're about to do. Tell me about the military strategy. Like, he freezes up. He doesn't say anything.
He doesn't
she's like, fine,
say anything.
Go to your quarters. I'll figure you out later. She tries to pry some information out of him, but he's a vault. This kid is just not talking. He just seems very scared. So eventually she goes to Allison and says, all right, just so you know, I have your son. It's been here a couple days. I do need to kill him. But I'm not going to do that because I'm merciful and I've been campaigning on mercy this whole time. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send him to the wall. It's going to take the black and we'll never hear from him again, but at least he won't be dead. And Allison's like, damn, that's crazy. Well, okay, I guess I have to do that, but can I see him real quick? And if Rhaenyra did not do this, Mari, if Rhaenyra was not merciful enough to let Allison see her child, I don't even know if she ever finds out that this isn't Darren. This isn't Darren. This is an actor, a paid actor.
That was honestly so good because I'm gonna just say it here now. I was like, what? Rhaenyra captures Daeron. That don't make sense.
So where that at? Who wrote that part?
Who wrote that part? And I was just like, again, I was just like, well, yeah, just like
got something to say for the book corner, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then when Allison was like, she was like, she it felt like she didn't want to say it. She was like, should I let?
But look at the look on her face, Mari. I got that screenshot directly from that scene.
Yes.
She cannot hide her facial expression. She like, damn, who is this kid? I don't know him.
And it was very smart for the kid not to speak because, once the kid speaks, they should easily be able to tell, like, the different dialects, like a noble dialect versus a common born dialect. So that's probably was a factor there as well. Once Rhaenyra was like, wait, are you not Daeron? And he starts talking,
Yeah. He admits that Ormond bleached his hair and basically threatened him, said like, hey, if you reveal who you are, we will have your mother killed. And your mama ain't did nothing to deserve this. This is just your duty as a part of, I guess, the army of the Lord or whatever they are, to where you got to do this. And so the kid obliges. He doesn't want his mom to die. But Rhaenyra is, again, between a rock and a hard place because I know she want to just start slapping people. But the people in the room have not done anything to her, Yeah. So she can't take it out on this little boy, but somebody's got to pay, damn it. She started looking around like, now what can I do? We also find out that the Hightowers in that moment, by using this decoy, they have made a move on, is it Tumbleton?
Yeah, Tumbleton. And if you recall, Sir Hugh,
that's where his wife went.
His wife, yeah, she said we should go to Tumbleton in the first season or the second season, and so she went to Tumbleton with her brother to see her brother because there was nothing here, and Tumbleton is where the Hightower host is currently attacking. Because that was another thing. I was like, they just gave up. Why are they just giving up that quickly? So yeah, all this was a ruse so that the Hightowers can take the stronghold of Tumbleton. What happened was, I think they stole the dragon. They were able to steal the Blue Queen back. That's how the Dragon Keeper was able to tell Rhaenyra what was happening, or something like that. Or maybe they only took the Blue Queen to Tumbleton.
Yeah, they say it's in Tumbleton right now.
Yeah.
They
didn't transfer her all the way back.
Yeah, the dragon and the people are in Tumbleton, and Rhaenyra's reaction is, I guess I'm gonna have to burn that bitch to the ground. They're like, well, by doing that, you also killed the people in there that are your people, the people that you rule. So you kind of have to tread lightly. And this is when she realizes that she has bit off way more than she can chew. Rhaenyra is under fire. She's very angry, but the show kind of leaves us in a situation where we don't know what she's going to do next.
Right. It's very much like I love how this whole show is like the makeup the makeup person I think just gave her red eyeliner this whole
Oh,
episode or something, like because they were, it was crazy eyes, like just wild eyes,
well, she
like
ain't slept.
yeah, exactly. She said she didn't sleep, so as she's realizing what is happening, it's just like we're left to wonder, oh Lord, what's gonna happen? Because it's almost like she's like, at least finally something that I can focus on. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Like, because she comes into this place to rule, she's completely overwhelmed, and it's like, well, at least maybe I can just go burn some people up. That's way easier than governing.
Yeah, but you can't burn your own folks, so you got to figure out how to
Yeah,
navigate that too.
yeah, like Tumbleton, if I remember correctly, and we'll see next week. It's like a fortress town. It's famous for its bells, I believe, and I believe the host of the army hides amongst the city. Like
Mm.
like so that's the thing. So yeah, the Battle of Tumbleton is
Wow.
coming up.
I could only imagine how that's going to go when she tells Hugh the Hammer. So, by the way, we got to go lay siege to Tumbleton. You're good with that, right? And his wife just there with her brother, you
I feel
know,
like maybe you might want to send a raven,
and something else. Right? Yeah, because somebody else
maybe
to
just
Tumbleton.
like, maybe we gotta do, I don't know, maybe we gotta burn her alive. We don't
So, like,
know.
are
We
you
don't
trying to get
know.
it's like, does your wife have good vibes, Hugh? Do you how much you love her? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, we could get you a new wife. That you know, come on.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
You
like
want
what
a
we
castle
doing?
and a new wife.
Right. You look, you could you could be a widower in a Mercedes, or you could be one in a in a Toyota. That's all I'm
In
saying.
a Toyota.
Right. So
Oh,
we leave a lot of things up in the air, literally and figuratively. I believe Damon has been told to take flight because he's got some politicking to do. We also have to find Aemond because Aemond is at Harrenhal, or at least Aemond is missing. They knew he went to
he's missing. Yeah.
Harrenhal. They know he's killed a bunch of people, but we haven't seen Aemond and Vagar for a long time. And she said something very interesting. She said, okay, well, whoever finds him can just have Harrenhal. And I thought, damn, don't tell that witch that.
Yeah. Don't let her know that. Sending Damon to the Vale to negotiate. Do people not remember his first wife? Like,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was her people. They
her
don't like
people.
him over there.
Damon said,
Um,
I'll be happy to go because
I'll
they
be
owe us
happy.
money. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right, Lady Jane over there. But it's like they owed you men slash now you're gonna ask for money, but you owed them a dragon and you gave them a hatchling and some eggs. So it's just kind of like,
Hmm.
again, treating your allies. Gotta treat your allies good.
And imagine his face when he get there and see Raina sitting out there in the fields with that dragon sheep stealer.
I can't wait. I
Can't
can't
wait.
wait.
Can't wait. They mentioned sheep stealer so many times and they still don't know it's Raina ass out there in the
Yeah.
veil just hanging out.
And did you catch they said that they said the only dragon that they seen was Sunfire, dead and
Yeah, his
decaying.
dead. Yeah, his corpse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So interesting. Trying to think, is there anything else that we haven't talked about from the episode before we get into the book corner? Oh, I have a
Um
question. What they made a point of showing that little boy, the fake Daron. He was carving a little bird out of wood. Was that supposed to tell her something? Like she seemed to take like pause when she saw him. Like late, he was asleep, but when she looked down, he had this little bird carved, and I don't know if that was just like a sign that he's not
oh,
nobility.
I don't know if it's a sign if he's not nobility or whatever, but maybe it reminded her of like Viserys's little miniature
Oh yeah,
carving.
he used to carve,
Hmm.
right? Maybe that's what
Yeah.
that was. I mean, to be fair, with the blonde hair, the boy does favor Viserys a little bit.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So it could have been that, because Aegon destroyed his miniatures once after the blood and cheese. So
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if Rainier is missing that right about now.
Yeah, I also like the moment when Rhaenyra wouldn't tell Corlys that she was going to legitimize the bastards. She didn't tell him no yet, but she just kind of left him hanging. But when she hit the corner and she saw Baela, she's like, she just kept walking. She didn't want to say nothing to her. Like, I feel you on that one because you're definitely about to say no. So yeah, I thought it was a fun episode. I thought this episode was very funny. Just like those moments, those beats of hit the corner, you think something's about to happen, but then the beat drop again, and then the beat drop again, and the beat drop again. That's when you realize that, oh my God, she's kind of
I gotta watch it again. I do, yeah. I gotta watch it again because like it was such a subtle, understated episode where it was so like a bottle episode. Then everything's flipped on its head at the end, So
right.
I really want to watch it again. Would this have been a good way to open season 3?
I think so, because I think I think it would have been a great premiere, because I think if you left last season the way it ended, I think that or the last episode the way it ended, I think that you spend the next year or two, depending on how long it takes for them to drop these episodes, like preparing for the Rhaenyra reign, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to see what it looks like. And then you get slapped into the face with what she does, right? Where you kind of hit the wall that she hits. So, oh my God, this isn't what we expected. So I think that would have been so cool as a first episode. We know that it is the third episode now, but
I'm still so mad at that. Like, why did the first season have 10 episodes? And then you made the arbitrary decision to give the second season 8 episodes, splitting off the last 2. Like, I hate the decision makers over there.
Yeah,
brothers.
But yeah, Relief Rhaenyra trying to be the champion of the people, but realizing that it's hard to give everybody what they want to please everybody. That's basically Viserys' downfall, and so she doesn't want to have that downfall herself. So we will see next week what that looks like when she gets, I guess, to start making some of these political moves. But Mari, we got to talk about the book. And so for all the people who are listeners of this podcast who do not want to be spoiled or want any of the book knowledge, now is your time to tap out. We'll be back next week, the same time, same Bat Network here, talking about House of the Dragon. But if you do want the supplemental Mari content, then now is the time for Maester Mari's book club. Mari, in the book, you said there's no like fake Daeron plan. I kind of like this.
Yeah, I actually did really like this, like little like like I love that. I was not mad at that at all. I was like confused, and I was like, maybe I'm misremembering something, or actually my biggest thought was thinking like, oh, this is them introducing the character so that when he does have a bigger role, everybody's not like, who? You know what I'm saying? So I was initially thinking before the reveal that like maybe the kid was gonna like run away. Like when she said she was gonna let Alicent see him, I was like, oh, okay, Alicent will like
free him or something.
Free him. Yeah. That was where my thought process it was going. So
So you told me that Ormond is not a big deal in the book, but he seems to be like a very big figure here in the show. I mean, just looking at the way and the contrast between him and Daemon, where Daemon comes and he's like being snarky and, kind of like playing, he's a jokester. He's like, oh yeah, oh, sorry, forgot. We got to take your kid hostage. Just FYL, LOL, and Ormond is presenting himself as like, okay, very pragmatic, very solution oriented. He's not flying off the handle because he's foresaw this happening, right? They already bleached this kid's hair, so they knew that the obvious thing is to take this kid away, or to at least try to execute him. And so we need a stand-in child to kind of throw everybody off the scent so that they can make this bigger plan happen. What do you think about Ormond, the way he's getting depicted in the show versus what you know about him in the book?
Yeah, I mean, like essentially his main not goal, but his main function in the book is to act as Daeron's Daeron's the ward, so it's like his
warden.
No, is mentor maybe. Yeah, okay. We'll go with that. Yeah. So and when he did the kneel, I was like, okay, this is more in line with what I was thinking too. Like, because I kept looking at that field and all those people. I was like, what battle? There's no
They
battle.
can't fight right now.
I
Yeah.
was right, and then when he immediately bent the knee and did all that, I was like, okay, well that makes sense chronologically, but also I was thinking like they forever showed all these like soldiers like lining up in the high tower, and I was like, did they really just do all that for this opening 10 minutes or whatever? So I just thought it was very cunning, and I like his portrayal. I really do. And it's not surprising that he would do something like this. This is the Theon treatment, right? This happens all the time. Whenever there are wars, the first thing you do is you take wards, aka hostages of the houses.
Right.
It happens every single time. The defeated houses must give up. They must give up. Uh, like I even in Viserys's time, I feel like something like this kind of happened. But anyways, they have to give up. They have to give up like a son or a daughter or something, so that it keeps that. And it's normally the region, right? It's main houses. It's like it keeps them people in check, because if you do an uprising, I have your heir, and I can just kill him at any point, so it's not Thailand level or Sir Otto level of thinking and cunning to be like, oh, they're probably going to come for Daeron. Of course they're coming for Daeron. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it was a great maneuver, but it's not like he's not Littlefinger. You know what I'm saying?
I think the word we were looking for is guardian. I think that's the word.
There it is. Yes, guardian.
Yeah, it took me a minute.
Yeah, I was like, it's right there.
Yeah. Okay, so in these rough patch where we're getting for Rhaenyra, does the book explore Rhaenyra's reign having so many obstacles?
Yeah, it does, because war is turmoil, and the people are constantly looking for somebody to blame. And who is once seen as the liberator can often then be turned into the enemy. And because, again, everything that the people were undergoing under the Greens, when they saw Rhaenyra circling and they see that she showed restraint, she's the liberator. But when things don't start going the way they want to, now she's the enemy. Now she's a dictator. So this is perfectly in line with it, and especially in Westeros, and we we watched Game of Thrones and the War of the Five Kings. Whenever there's war, the streets become unsafe. Like, remember they talked about here, like the triarchy. We saw it last episode, but they talked about it here. The triarchy, those who couldn't go back with the ships that flee, they came ashore, and now they're like ravaging villages and stuff like that. Like, war is not kind to the small folk. We talked about it in Dunk and Egg. Like, and so the small folk are going to need somebody to blame. And again, the transfer of power was not peaceful for Rhaenyra. So she runs into quite a lot of obstacles.
Is there anything from this episode, like timeline wise, that we need to know from the books that can give us a little bit more context about what's about to happen? Because obviously Rhaenyra's got some things to do. Harrenhal's still up in the air. We got to get Joffrey back. So what's next according to the book? Like, where do we, or not so much what's next? Like, don't spoil us, but give us some context to what's going on.
Well, what's next is the Battle of Tumbleton. She has to go and deal with this. You know what I'm saying? Like, feeding the small folk aside, that gave her a couple weeks. She has to put a stop to this, because now, with Aegon gone and unaccounted for, with Aemon gone and unaccounted for, with the world's largest dragon, it's like she cannot legitimately claim the throne when arguably there's 2 to 3 claimants out there just wandering around. So if she can't find Aegon to assert herself there, and she can't find Aemon to assert herself there. It's kind of like with Lord Hightower with Otto. She knows where Daeron is. She's gonna be like, I have more dragons than him. I need to go, like, do a show of force on him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's next. The Battle of Tumbleton.
Well, I'm very concerned because from what I can understand, Tumbleton has a bunch of people in it. Is she, is her at some point? I mean, I know you got to fight them, but do you try to lure them out, like, or do you just come in and just start burning stuff?
We will see, won't we?
Yikes. Okay. Anybody else you want to give some context to before we wrap?
Anybody else? We've already talked about Maester. She's doing a really good job trying to being the mistress of whispers.
Mm-hmm.
We've dug around in Daemon's head. I think we've kind of understood where Alicent is coming from. Alicent did everything she was supposed to do, and she's still like, dog, just leave me alone. Leave me and my weird daughter alone. So, how did you think? We talked about the rinky dinkness of the knighting of the bastards.
Oh my god!
What do you think is going on in their heads right about now?
Well, for Ulf, I think it doesn't really matter. I think that for him, this is better life than what he had going on. He's kind of just in for the ride. I don't think he believes anything that's going on though, because I think there's definitely moments where they cut to him and he's like, "Is this it?" That's like, I think it's really demystifying the nobility for him because he's growing up in a world where the gods have chosen these people. This is their noble blood, and the dragons only ride for certain people. And now he's like, little old me got a dragon, and now I'm a lord and all this other stuff, and a knight too. Oh my! If it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody, And I think in a weird way, it's like a rags to riches story, but also kind of like we were talking about with the bastards, like the blood don't matter. It's all about the names. It's what you make of this moment, right? Like if Ulf goes on to win a big battle or whatever, he's no longer just Ulf. He's Ulf the White, Battle of Tumbleton winner, and then that brings legitimacy to his kids. Now his kids are going to inherit stuff, and then one day they'll marry nobility, and then all of a sudden his grandkids will be Starks or Targaryens or whatever the case may be, and so I think that's kind of interesting to watch. Hugh, I think, is in a tight spot because Tumbleton is where his wife is, and his boss is about to tell him to go burn it, and so I definitely think we should be concerned about Hugh's longevity here. But honestly, all of their longevity. I think that Ulf is probably the most safe. I think Hugh is the second most that I'm like, all right, maybe Hugh could get a new wife. But I think Adam is going to find out from Corlys that, you're not getting the name. She won't give it to you. She was too busy trying to give names to her bastards that didn't even look like her. Mine look just like me. And, she got an issue now all of a sudden, and I don't know how that's going to hold up because Adam seems like the more malleable of the two. But I think once him and Alan kind of put their twin heads together, I think at that point they're like, something ain't right here. We're not going to ride for this. So I just think that, this rinky-dink knighting of these three specific people, it doesn't bode well for her. I really wish she had at least one night that was like, I give you all, I don't care. I'm willing to die for this thing. They have no wants, they have no needs. They're just here for the sole purpose of serving her. She ain't got nobody like that. I think everybody around her has an ulterior motive. Yeah,
exactly. It's very much what have you done for me lately,
And, I think the climb to the throne is the fun part. I think the battle for supremacy is the fun part. I think the campaigning, we see that with politicians all the time where they are just like, they're gung-ho. They're telling you everything you want to hear. They're making promises, you do all these hashtags and all that kind of stuff. But then when they get in office, you're like, you made promises, did he? You start asking questions about like, okay, but where's the money? Where's the money? Where are the things? Where's the gold? Where's the prosperity? Where's the change? Where gas prices are supposed to be low? Why are the eggs still going up? What you said these things. And, I think the hardest part is, once you get that throne, once you get that crown on your head and you realize how heavy that is, you're like, damn, this is hard. And it's hard to make all these promises make sense and to feed everybody. You got to rob Peter to pay Paul. And sometimes Paul ain't got it and Peter ain't got it either. And so she Rhaenyra has been like in a really bad spot, and a lot of it's obviously not her fault. But this is the spot she's in, and I'm very entertained watching her kind of trying to figure out a way out of this, because I don't think there is a right answer. I think all the things are going to be wrong for somebody, and I think that's what Alicent was trying to get her to understand. It's like, you got to crack some eggs to make this omelet.
Yeah, there's too many people for you to try and please everybody, right? And again, it's how you'll be remembered in the history books, right? So, and also, like you said, the money's in the chase. It's just like in wrestling. It's like you have that ultimate baby face. They're chasing the title, chasing the title, chasing the title. People are paying their money to see the chase. And the moment that they win that belt, boy, normally it takes about a month or 2 months before the crowd then turns on them. Like it's just like human nature almost.
Mhm.
You know, we root for the underdog just intrinsically. So it's an uphill battle. Other than that, I just have 2 corrections corners here in the book corner as well. Just in the first episode when I was like, why are the Starks here? Those were the Greybeards. I couldn't remember if I corrected that. Like, they were supposed to be there, and I didn't totally forget about it. They did not introduce themselves correctly, but we did talk about that. Like when Jace went to the wall and Kraken said, yeah, I can get you the Greybeards right now. The rest of the people might take a minute. Because again, like I said originally, I was like, it takes them forever to get from Winterfell. But them Greybeards, they came to die, and 2/3 of them died for their queen. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And then the other correction, which I thought was after, like, because I reread the book all the time, and after rereading the book, I realized that, kind of like with the Laenor storyline, they took one small line from the book and made a whole new storyline from it. And the storyline with Alicent helping Rhaenyra and getting Aemon to go to Harrenhal technically could be seen to have happened in the books, because in the books, Aemon flies off to Harrenhal. He's like, ha ha ha, we drove them out, they were afraid to face us, with Kristen Cole, which, by the way,
where is
he?
Yeah.
But anyways, and then they find out that the fall of King's Landing, happened. And in the book, it says Aemon suspected that there had to be a
mole,
basically a mole on the council, because how else would they have known when King's Landing was the most vulnerable? So yeah, they took that one line and blew it up to a storyline where Alicent was that mole, which I guess when you put it like that makes more sense because of how she was treated post the takeover. But still, it's not. I've already said it's not really a interpretation that I like that much.
How does history remember Rhaenyra in the books? Because I think right now she's trying to get to like Viserys levels of, I don't want to make anybody mad, but like, what is her like ultimate legacy? As far as like the queen that she's remembered as.
Well, like Taryn said last week in the book corner, she was called Maegor with teats. So Maegor the Cruel, one of her ancestors, who was horrible leader, very ruthless, would kill any and everybody. He had 6 wives, and earned the name Maegor the Cruel. So she was, in this history, she was referred to as Maegor with teats, a raging like bitch. She was not seen kindly in this history book, and it's one of the things we talked about last week with Taryn, with the perception of how these 2 women battled it out, and how much agency they had, and how history chose to remember them. And with that, knowing that a lot of the chroniclers were lean kind of teen green,
Mm-hmm.
um, or
Or
a
at the
lot
very
of the
least, we're men.
yeah, or men, yes. And the chronicler that was there with her every step of the way, his account isn't taken as seriously because he's a fool. He was a fool, mushroom the fool, or the fool mushroom, and mushroom writes down his account of the dance from Rhaenyra's court because he was Rhaenyra's fool. And there's a lot of insight that he gave, but he also again was a fool and a jester, so he intermixed it with a lot of like jokes and
Shenanigans.
exact yeah and exaggeration, so people can't really fully um fully understand what he was really getting at there. So yeah, she was not seen kindly to history.
I said this last episode, and I'll double down 2 episodes in a row. She has awful PR right now. Her PR is bad. I think that public execution of Otto,
Yep.
as bungled as it was not good. I think that finding out that she doesn't have any money and then having to deal with all of this stuff. I think that people are going to talk, and I think that luckily she has Maesteria, right? That she is the mistress of whispers. She's out here kind of pushing her propaganda. That's good, but with Corliss yelling things like "Your kid's a bastard and he died a bastard," that's not going to inspire people,
Yeah.
especially because Corliss is a war hero. They just won the Battle of Gullet. Like Corliss,
Yeah.
we're going to go far. They know how much he's
Mhm.
lost, and you don't need him screaming that stuff at the top of his lungs. And I highly doubt that'll be the last time he says something like that. Again, we saw what happened with Corliss's own brother. Them N words are willing to die to keep that truth, to say that truth. Okay, they are.
Yeah.
So yeah, not great as far as like the public opinion for her right now. And so like if it continues to go down this route where even her both like her best intentioned actions are seen as highly negative in a lot of people's way, I can definitely see a world where she ends up being compared to Maegor.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's also just one of those things like at this junction, she's probably damned if she do, damned if she don't,
Mm-hmm.
to be quite
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. But heavy is the head that wears the crown, and we will find out what she does with that next week when we come back to talk about House of the Dragon season 3 episode 4. Until then, Mari, what else are you working on?
Well, you can find me over on Crime Scene. You can go to crimescenepod.com. That's crime, SEEN pod.com, where me and Sarah Carradine bring you true crime Tuesdays. If you sign up for buymeacoffee.com/crime scene pod and become a member or a supporter there, you'll get access to a lot of members only episodes. You'll get access to what it will now be our once a month, our monthly live recording. So if you are a member on Buy Me a Coffee, we will let you know when we will be doing a live recording, and you'll get to sit in on the studio and watch us record live with our guests, and you'll get to interact with us, leave questions. Chappell was our first was on our first live like that, and it went so well, and members asked for us to do it again, that we're now going to do it monthly. The next one is next week. So we'll be joined by Jason Reed to talk about Worst Neighbor Ever on Netflix, and that will be live. So it's members only. You got to show up there. It'll be 9 p.m. Eastern, I believe, on July 10th. And you'll get to see all the behind the scenes. You'll get to see all of the blunders, the the cussing, the inappropriate jokes and laughter. You'll get to see all of that live and interact with us live. And if you're not a member, you will get the very polished, neat, and nice episode like you normally do. So it's a lot of fun over there. So make sure you're subscribing to Crime Scene Pod wherever you get your podcasts in order to support us. As well, Big Brother starts soon, so hopefully we'll be doing some coverage on RHAP. I'm excited about that. So make sure you are following me over on Bluesky. I'm only on Bluesky, very pretentious of me. I'm only on Bluesky at Mari Talks Too Much. That's 2, like the number 2. That's where I'm pretty sure I'll be getting off all of my Big Brother hot takes over there. So just make sure you're following me.
Yeah, and check me out on Bluesky as well at Recap Kickback on all social media platforms. I will be also chronicling my thoughts about Big Brother this season. I'll be over on the Rob Has a Podcast network. We know reality TV, we know bigbrother.com, whatever the case may be. For the patrons of that podcast, you can hear me talking about some shenanigans in the Big Brother house on the slop, but that's a paid podcast for patrons only. But then if you want to hear my thoughts about the strategy, you can check me out talking to David Bloomberg every week on Why Blank Lost. And we go through the rules that David has established for why these players lose these reality TV games. And I will be his co-host for this season of Big Brother. And so check that out. But of course, make sure you stick around here on Recap Kickback to catch up with all the content that we have, including the Vampire Lestat, which that podcast should be dropping tomorrow for you. And you definitely need to come and join Mari and I as we talk about the shenanigans over there. And then, of course, Chantel and I. It's so fun. It's so fun. Get you a Vampire Lestat cup, too, while you're at it. And then Chantel and I are still talking about the Flavor of Love Cinematic Universe, starting now with the Rock of Love series. We did episode 1 live on last Sunday, and so every Sunday we should have an episode recap of that show for you as well. But that's it for Mari and for myself. You ain't got to go home, but you do have to tune in next week for more content from us right here on Recap Kickback presents House of the Dragon HOTD, the Westeros Kickback. Peace and take care, everybody.
I've been trapped behind Swamp Maria, isolated like it's North Korea. Smaller city with some bigger dreams. The wall is cracked, I'm looking in between it. The world is yours, but man, I gotta see it. They say it's hard, but man, I gotta see it. The air I'm breathing can't feel my chest. Wait on life, I wanna hold my breath. I'ma get in my goddamn self.